Okay, this is we're at Mercy Brown's grave, and we're in Exeter, Rhode Island, at Chestnut Hill Cemetery. And we used to do a lot of videos, and for some reason, all our videos were taken down our channel. So we're gonna start up again and see if we can start doing new videos. Okay, the first video is going to be not really about Mercy Brown, but we used to do ghost investigations, and we'll just tell you a ghost story that happened to us here. Okay, this is Mercy Brown. This is the Mercy Brown. This is the Brown family plot, and she's famous for being America's last vampire. She died in 1892 of tuberculosis. They called it consumption back then. And if you want to look her up on I don't even, without going into her story, just look it up on YouTube. There's a million videos about her, and she's pretty famous. So this is a pretty busy cemetery, and so in October of 2018, every Saturday night in the weekends, we was coming in here, and I'd set up a table, and I had my recorders on there, and a audio recorder, and my K2 meter, and another EDI recorder, they call it. And so we were in here, and the week before we were here, we were in this cemetery, and over there was a grave, and we heard a scuff. It was just right at my feet. It was like somebody took their foot and just scuffed the ground, and didn't think nothing of it. I go, oh, wow, that was pretty cool, but that was about the only thing that happened. So the next week we came over here, and I set up the table here, and I had my recorders on it, and not much was going on that night. You know, people coming in and out of here. It's a pretty busy place, especially in October. I've seen news crews in here. I've met people from Oregon in here, California, and everywhere, from all over the state. Half the state of Rhode Island I've met in here. So anyway, we had the table up, nothing was going on, and I remember these teenage girls came in here, and they parked, and they went running down towards the keep, and they were screaming, you know, any little teeny noise, they were screaming, and they finally came up here, and they looked at her grave, and they left. You know, they didn't know half the story about her. You know, everybody thinks she's a vampire that roams around the graveyard. She doesn't. So I had my things up, and was getting close to like 11 o'clock, and we wanted to get out of here. So I said, oh, before we leave, let's take the K2 meter, walk down to the keep, and we'll come back. So Dylan's holding on to the K2 meter. We walked down, nothing didn't go off, nothing's going on. We come back, and we're almost back to this graveyard. We're almost back to this grave, right out this little corner right here, where the road leads. The K2 meter, for no reason, hadn't gone off all night. All of a sudden, it just started going nuts. And about time. So it just went off nuts. So I told Dylan, let's come over here, because I wanted to grab the audio recorder. And it stopped going off. So we went back, and it started going off again. And I told it, whatever it was, I said, come on over to the table. So it followed us over to the table, and the K2 stopped going off. But I turned the recorder on, and I was asking it questions, and I think we did get a couple of like real low whispers. You couldn't understand what they were saying. But that night after that happened, we saw a dark shadow run across, and then we saw a little pin light. It was a light, and it started over there, and then it just was going across the cemetery, and then it went out, and then it came back in, and it just went over towards the keep. So we thought that was pretty cool, and it was like a lot of activity going on for like 15 minutes, and then boom, before that nothing was going on. 15 minutes, everything was going off, and then boom, it just stopped. So we thought that was pretty cool, because if you get into this stuff, you want stuff like that to happen, and you don't want to freak out or nothing like that. You just want to observe what's going on. So a couple of months later, we were just coming in here, and there was a couple in here, husband and wife and a kid. So I came over and I said, "Oh, do you ever hear the story about Mercy Brown?" And they knew some of it, so I told them what happened, and then I told them what I just told you, what happened to us, and they thought it was pretty cool. Then they left, and we had a recorder on her, so I said, "Oh, the heck of it, let's just record." So I turned it on, asked whoever was here to say something, and the only voice we got was Laura did it. And we were like, "Oh, what did it say?" Because Dylan's got better ears than me. And he said, "Oh, it says Laura did it. Laura did it." I go, "Oh, maybe it was saying something about what all the activity we saw down there." So we got to go back down there. We got to look around, see if there's any Lauras around her gravesite. So we went over here. And who's buried over here? There's a Laura. And this is where I heard the scuff. This is the exact same place where I heard the scuff. And then we got Laura. So we'll go back over to Mercy's grave. So that's what happened to us over here. In this cemetery, you could come here 100 times, and if you have a digital recorder, you might record stuff. I've never ever recorded a woman's voice over here. It's always been a male voice, different males' voices. And another time I recorded a voice over here saying, after I like to explain what I'm doing before I do it. This recorder does this recorder does that, and I got a voice that said fancy. It goes, "Fancy that," like it was impressed by what we had. But this is not by far one of the most haunted cemeteries. You could come here 100 times, and maybe one time out of the 100, or 5 times out of 100, you might get stuff. I mean, you get voices, but on a recorder, but you won't really see anything, hear anything. But once in a while, you might. So maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe out of hauntedness, I guess you would say. But it's a cool place to come to if you know her story, and it is haunted. It's real. I mean, I've recorded a bunch of voices in different places, so we're probably going to do other videos. Probably go up to Plain Meeting House Cemetery. Now that's like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10 up there. And we might go to Foster, where I'll explain. I don't really do investigations anymore, but I will tell you about that's a nasty cemetery in Foster. So, well, that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it, and we'll try to get more to you. See ya.